that's when you're being released, when you're deceased. So life is life.
They're not releasing you, they releasing.
Your
They're not
body.
releasing you, they're releasing your body. When you talk about like relevant conduct, you know, we've been using the word conduct. Let's understand that conduct is behavior, right? Those that's listening, and many people, I'm sure many people that listen to this program, follow various sports, right? So they hear oftentimes about their favorite athletes, or some of the athletes that maybe not be their favorite athlete get suspended for conduct, quote unquote, detrimental to the team,
Yeah.
right? And then you find out that this player has been suspended, and the player may be suspended for 4 games, 6 games, and then when it's time for them to go back, they got to go before the commissioner. And sometimes the commissioner might say, well, you know what? Even though you use performance-enhancing drugs or it was found in your system, I still think that you should be held out a few more games because, you know, of what people say about you in the club. You know what people say about you in the locker room. So now all of the opinions and all of the things that are said about you, people hear about you. This particular commissioner of these particular sports entities have the quote unquote discretion to decide whether or not your relevant conduct should be factored in to what it is that you've been suspended for. So now you take that and you look at what's happened to us. And to many people, like Ronald said earlier today, many people throughout the United States, especially here, and that's what's happened. They've taken the behavior that we were removed from the community for, right? Because it's the same thing where you say, okay, we believe that based on this conduct that you all were involved in, we believe that you're a detriment to the community, so we're going to remove you from the community. Translation, lock you up. But the judge comes back. He or she acts like the commissioner and says, and like Danny just pointed out, yeah, but somebody said you used to carry a gun too. So you know what? I'm gonna add to that. So when you think about what we're talking about today, and you think about what's happening in our system, that it's across the board, and bills that they're trying to introduce now will legitimize what they've been doing all along.
Because for years, people have obviously been in the blind.
Been in the blind.
Yeah.
32 years.
I want to.
For 32 years.
I spoke on it earlier in reference to Antone White and Eric Hicks recently about the First Step Act when the judge said that they were eligible. I wish I had her opinion in front of me so I could basically say her words and don't misquote her, but it's basically on the lines of what we're discussing. He was denied in the continual life sentence. First, let me backtrack. Eric Hicks, no violence. He wasn't charged with no violence. Drug, that's it. Drug conspiracy, doing a life sentence. Ghost drugs, and that's a whole nother topic that we could put on a whole nother segment about drugs that, and on our courtroom, it wasn't no drugs in our courtroom for any of us. It was people that already doing time for the drugs that was in our courtroom, but that's for another discussion. But Eric Hicks had no violence, wasn't a part of no violence in this case, still with a life sentence. Antone White, we had violence, charged with, beat the violence, a jury, but they didn't acquit as a hung jury. They had an opportunity to retry us. They didn't.
They dismissed it.
They dismissed it. I was a part of it, me and Antone. This judge took upon herself, in her opinion, when saying that my brothers are eligible for this, but she gonna use the discretion not to give it to them for Antone because of the murder. Something that they had an opportunity to retry us on if they thought that they could prove it. They didn't. And ghost drugs. Another that came out, what's the law that said that that's unconstitutional?
Apprendi and Booker.
this is something that has been came out that they know that's unconstitutional by the Supreme Court, charging the defendant.
But they didn't make it retroactive, so it didn't apply to guys that were already incarcerated.
So let that resonate for a minute.
Repeat that one more
Let
time.
that resonate for a minute. They said that this is unconstitutional. This practice that we got sentenced to, using drugs that wasn't presented before a jury. And we couldn't get back or relief on that because it didn't happen when we was locked up or convicted. So they are saying that it's unconstitutional, but just because we didn't make it retroactive, so it doesn't apply to you, even though it's unconstitutional.
And they adding these ghost drugs up too, on top of it.
The ghost drug, that's what they do. They add it up. That's how it becomes ghost drugs.
Let us expound on what he means by ghost drugs.
Okay.
Ghost drugs are drugs that a particular witness may testify to during trial. Let's say a witness gets on the stand and say, I bought a key of cocaine from Danny every month for 12 months.
Right.
And then the judge adds this up and says, you're responsible for 12 keys. So this is what we call ghost drugs.
Right.
Drugs that don't really exist. They're just coming from somebody's mouth.
Word of mouth.
Right. And the
Hearsay
weight of the
is what they
drugs,
called it.
right, and the weight of the drugs that has different levels, like a key, 2 keys or more, 5 keys or more. So once they go over, I think it was
8
back
keys.
then, it was like 5 keys.
No.
Then 5 keys or more, then now you're at the
different
life,
bracket.
you're at the life level. So
Even though most of these people gonna say whatever they gotta say to get out of their situation.
Right. So
Exactly.
that's the other part, because where's the stuff that they say?
and so about 10 or so years later, what Ronald was just talking about, Apprendi and Booker comes out, and the Supreme Court rules that the government has to introduce the amount of the drugs in the indictment, and that a defendant has to be convicted
Yeah.
for the amount of drugs at the time of the indictment. That you can't just pile on. They came and said, okay, but that's unconstitutional, but they wouldn't let guys like us benefit from it, because at this time we were still locked up. But they would let us benefit from it, saying that it wasn't retroactive.
Right.
We're only going to apply it going forth.
So this judge felt it upon herself to use her discretion to use stuff that has been made said, proven, or I guess ruled, should be a better word, unconstitutional, to deny my brother's relief. And let me, they've been locked up since '92. No murders, no drugs, ghost drugs, but conspiracy, RICO, whatever. And let me touch on that conspiracy and RICO and another charge that we was charged with CC, continued criminal enterprise. In order to establish a continued criminal enterprise or a racketeering and corrupt organization, you have to stretch back 5 years. The conspiracy must exist 5 years. The oldest person on our case when we got locked up was 21. So you stretch back 5 years. I was 19. So you stretch back 5 years and you saying 14.
14.
And you saying the oldest one 21.
16.
Are starting and continuing criminal enterprise, a racketeering, a corrupt organization. This is not no pity party. I just want the facts to speak for itself.
Right,
You know what
exactly.
I'm saying?
No, this ain't that.
I mean, listen. I did my time. My brothers that did their time. Let the punishment fit the crime. That's all we asking for. And it's a whole lot of others in this same situation. So we won't let them out. It's just personal
Is it similar?
with me. So I'm
Is it
talking
similar
about
to
my
like
brothers.
Tony Lewis situation?
Absolutely. Tony, my big homie. He's in a similar situation.
Yeah.
and a whole lot of others like him.